We are back, baby. Another episode, Flat Stick Focus. G, what's
Woohoo!
up?
Not
What's
much,
going
buddy.
on?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to do this. This is a fun topic that we
This
talk
is a fun
about
one.
a lot, and I think it's been discussed for years and years and years. And some of these, not the ones really on our list here, but a lot of companies have come and gone, and it's kind of like who's still in the game. So hopefully this will help, but it's just kind of fun to talk about. I'm going to preface this. I'm terrible at making lists and rankings and stuff. Like I hate I love doing it and I hate doing it at the same time because it's like
Well,
I
that's
want
because you say give me 5 or 10, and then you look at your list, you got 30.
I know
So
it's like I
it's
don't it's so hard to like bump people like it's like this list that I have right now could change by the time we get done recording or it could
you just have
change
an issue
tomorrow.
with you have an issue with quantity control.
That is true. That is true. How about you? Was this an easy exercise for you? You're a little bit better at like you're a little more cut and dry on stuff like this, I feel like, than I am.
Yeah, this was actually pretty easy well, not easy. I mean, I had maybe a few more than 10, but overall I kind of knew in my head. To be 100% honest, I was going to wing it during the episode, but I'm like, no, I'll jot them down. So literally 3 minutes before this episode, I jotted them down.
It became harder once you started writing them down though, didn't it? Because
A
it's like,
little
oh
bit. I
man,
did, I
wait.
did, I did change one or two, but for the most part, my list has stayed the same.
Yeah, okay. Well,
So,
this is fun. So let's get into it. So we are talking about we're doing like our 10 favorite. We're not here to say
yeah.
like which one's better than another, because that's very subjective and everybody has different likes. So we're here to talk about our 10 favorite putter makers.
I love
So,
it.
all right, bring us in with number 10 on the
You want me to
go to
start
the
with number
first row.
10?
I do, yep.
Okay. All
And we
right.
did order these. We did put these in order. We tried to, like I said, these could change in an hour. Who knows?
The
But we
cool thing
tried.
is, I don't know your list and you don't know mine. So we're probably going to have some overlapping. And if so, I'm interested to see when it's all said and done how many overlaps we actually had.
Yes, that's a good point. I'm gonna write yours down so I've got them like
Okay.
side by side.
All right. Well, I don't think you're doing it in any particular order. I kind of am. I'm going to lead up to my number one.
I am. I'm
Not
gonna go in
necessarily.
order.
Okay. Well, not necessarily that the other nine are in order. I guess they all kind of, but I will lead up to my favorite. Um, Rounding out number 10, early, early guest on the podcast,
MacMate.
Magmade. I
Good call.
think, man, he's kind of stood the test of time. I mean, like you were talking about in the beginning of the episode, a lot of putter makers that we like, boutique guys, for whatever reason, man, they just don't make it. But he has. He has. Josie's done a great job, man, and he's still pumping out. I mean, you it's funny with Josie stuff, you can see the evolution of his milling getting a little bit better, head shape's getting a little bit better, handwork a little bit better. But man, Josie, I feel like he's got to make that list. Like he does some really cool stuff, really unique stuff, one of a kind stuff. I mean, I just big Josie fan. I like the guy himself. Um, not just his products. Like just a big believer in Josie. So
Yeah, I'll. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there.
okay.
Everybody gets their space. All right. I might expand on Josie at some point. I don't know. Number 10 for me is Kingston.
Okay.
Now, I've never ordered a custom from Kingston, but I have a Kingston. It's the
Okay.
KP1, which is like their answer 009. It's GSS and it's just gorgeous. Like the head shape is gorgeous, the stamping is awesome, the milling, it's a really, really well shaped putter. It's the only one I've ever had. Got it in part of that collection that I bought, and it was one of the ones that I was like, I'm keeping this. I want to keep this one. It's got JT initials on it. I'm assuming it was probably made for Justin Thomas. So Uh, that would be awesome. Probably not true. But yeah, GSS stamped on one of the bumpers. It's got like a skull and crossbones, I think, in the cavity. It's just like in a
Cool.
unique kind of shaping, kind of like a platinum finish. Just a really good looking putter. Black shaft that's like not steel. If it is, it's coated with something.
Okay.
It's kind of a funky shaft. I like how they did their shaft band. Um, just a cool putter. I think their pricing is pretty good for what you get. I mean, I want to say they start like GSS starts at like 700 maybe,
Okay.
somewhere around there. I
Okay.
could be off a little bit. But they do carbon and GSS and 6 to 800 bucks maybe for those, and then obviously you add on for different stuff. But Kingston came in. They're in 10th position for now. Who knows? They could move up higher.
The only con that I have for Kingston though is no lefties that I know of. At least when I checked, maybe about a year ago. Now they may have added a few. I don't know, but I've got to give them a mark on that.
Yeah,
So
they get the red mark from G.
they get the red marks from me. So, but beautiful line. I mean, have you rolled that one?
Honestly, I don't think I've hit a putt with it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Uh, number nine. Coming
Normally,
in at
I
number
hate
nine.
stainless. I don't like stainless typically.
I know you don't.
I,
I know you
I
don't.
don't, but it looks good.
Okay. So number nine for me is going to be Brandon Matthew.
Mm, yep. Okay.
Brandon Matthew, tons of lefties. I think he's actually a lefty himself. Um, there again, he's one
That
of these
helps.
guys. It's one of these guys that similar to Josie, man, he's really good at his craft, but you can see the evolution of his milling, his shaping, his stamping, his finishes, everything. I mean, you go back to his Instagram and you look early on to now, and man, it's totally different. I mean, he is really progressed in his craft, and just a big fan, man. I like there again. We interviewed him. I really like the guy. I think he's super cool. Um, so yeah, he's gonna come in my ninth spot.
We call Brandon Matthew, California kid. Number 9 for me. This is an interesting one. I pretty much think I just like fell in love with this guy's work through Instagram
Okay.
during COVID, I believe. Um, he I think is kind of like known for doing like refinishes, um, refurbs and stuff like that. But then he started making his own putters, and I got a custom in 2020 from him, I believe. I got a smooth face. I believe it's called the PR1, which is that's bonus points. The finish, I did a smooth face. It is just it's on like no lie, one of the best custom putters I've ever had done. Honestly, like he would probably be higher up the list if I knew more about his stuff. If I like I haven't studied it as much. He's in England, I believe, so it's like I don't see as much of his stuff I guess around here. But dude, it is legit one of the most gorgeous putters I own, and it's Chris Finch.
Chris Finch. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
It's black with like the Tiffany, or
Mm-hmm.
it's like a
Yep.
yeah like a Tiffany blue. I mean, it is he knocked it out of the park. Like it is gorgeous and it feels good. It's he just did a great job.
He
I,
did
I'm a
do a great job on yours.
I'm a big fan of his work, and like I said, I could really see him moving up my list. Like the more I got into it and the more I studied his stuff, and like honestly, like I don't really know much about like what other head shapes he does or anything. Like I saw this one, I loved it. Like kind of like a Scottsdale answer shape, 009, like the flat top line. Like I love that look, and I was like, I want one. So I need to do more research on it. But Chris Finch in my
There you
ninth
go.
spot.
Ninth spot. Um, eighth spot for me is drum roll, Coggins, Jamie Coggins,
Ooh,
CMD. I had when we interviewed Jamie, he sent me very first lefty he ever made. Still kicking myself for not purchasing that one. Um, I think I actually reached back out to him probably close to a year ago and asked him. I was like, "You don't happen to just like have that one laying around? I'd really like to have it." And he's like, "No, he had sold it." But anyway, I've seen several of his putters in person. Um, there again, finishes are great. Man, it now that I think about it, like this list, it's a lot of boutique guys, but like we having this podcast and stuff, we followed them from the beginning, so we've got to see there again kind of the evolution of their designs, of their craft, and Jamie's another one, man. I mean, you look at the early stuff compared to now, and it's night and day. I mean, it is crazy how I don't know if they, visually to their eye, if they see something that they're not happy with or whatever it is, and it changes, but it is really cool, especially being the geeks we are with this stuff, to see how things change to their eye and they make it their own. I've always hated that thing where anytime Scotty throws out a Newport, they're like, "Oh, another answer." Well, I mean, it is, but I mean, you can also say Michelin is copying Goodyear. I mean, tires are tires, like um, yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy seeing that, I guess, out of putter makers. I like to see them put their own touches on stuff, and I feel like Jamie does a really good job of that.
Yeah, we both had a fun story with those Coggins putters we got, and yeah, I wish I had that one that I demoed as well.
Yeah.
Um, and we do. There are a lot of boutique makers. For me personally, I kept my list that way purposefully. I mean, I think like Ping and Toulon, they do great stuff with like the Toulon Garage and PLD and stuff. Like I think those would be on a list if you were
Yeah.
strictly talking like just custom putters. But I mean, then you got to throw in Scotty and Bettinardi and all this stuff too. And so we try to keep it to like boutique makers that you can readily call up and order, or at least I did. Um, I think that for my list, it made it a little bit easier probably, and got
Yeah.
some people in here that are really like kind of what people are looking for. I mean, who wouldn't love to go to the studio and get a custom 009 or Kamiko? But I mean, it's it just doesn't really happen that much. Number 8 for me has already been mentioned. Brandon Matthew.
Love it.
Um, a couple things I wrote down about Brandon is like I really like, I think he does a really nice job on his stamping. I'm a picky about that. And I like his web presence, like his
Yep.
Instagram page, like his website, like the way he does his pictures, just the way he runs the site. Like I think he just does like a nice job. It looks really good. It looks like he's putting a lot of effort into it. It's not just like hey, I'm gonna take a quick picture with my phone and set it up here. Like it's really really well done. And I do not have a custom putter of his. I had a putter of his that I got in a trade, and it had some like other personalization on it it wasn't anything. I think it said like okay cool on the bumpers, which is fine. That's no big deal. But it's just like it wasn't exactly like my speed. So I ended up trading it. I think maybe I sold it. But I would like to get a Brandon Matthew. I think
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got a cool vibe about him. You and I have talked to him or talked about him. I mean, we're gonna have him back on the show. I think he's ripe. Like he's one of the handful of people that I think would maybe be agreeable to it, but it's also like he's already in California. Like I think an OEM should snatch him up. Like I want to see like Srixon pick up a putter maker. I want to see somebody get like their Scotty Cameron. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why more people don't do it, honestly. Like, I mean, Logan obviously has gone with TaylorMade. I think that's a really smart move on their part. Um, obviously, Titleist has Scotty. I think Mizuno needs somebody. I think Srixon needs somebody. To me, that's like a no brainer. Um,
Yeah.
I like there's so much marketing value in having a name attached to it. Also, I don't know. I'm sure there's reasons that I don't understand on why they would not want to try and hire somebody. But I mean, from our conversation we had, like, I think Brandon, at least at the time, would like he would listen to that. There's some of these guys that would not. That
Yeah.
like I'm not going to work for somebody else, and I get that. But I think there's some that would be like, yeah, Mizuno wants to hire me to be their putter guy. Like, and Mizuno, like, and Srixon, you got the whole Japanese market. Like, I,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't understand why they're not doing it. But Brandon Matthew, number 8 for me.
Perfect. Okay. Want to hear your number 7, then I'll go over mine.
My number 7 also has already been mentioned. Josie, MacMan.
Joe.
I think, like you said, we're seeing growth in a lot of these guys. Like I have, like the Mac made stuff. Like I've really liked his milling. He's got this unique milling pattern that he uses a lot, and it looks really good and like really classy. And it's not like typical milling. Um, it's a much wavier like pattern. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And but dude, like he's starting to have like I imagine he's outsourcing this part, but like the engraving that he's having on some of these putters and just like the unique stuff that he's doing is it's pretty cool, and not everybody's doing it. And I just I think it's really cool. Now, another, we are seeing the growth of a lot of these people, but we're also seeing prices shoot up a lot too. Like I can
Yes.
remember, you know, this is a while ago now, but I mean, let's just say, oh gosh, it is a while ago now. But I mean, like when custom putters really were like the thing. I feel like back in when I was getting like my first custom putters, it was probably like 2006, 7, 8,
Mm-hmm.
right around there. I mean, that's 15 years ago now, more. So that is a long time. But I mean, then it was like Adele, which just reminded me, I don't have Adele on my list. They should totally be on a list because of like the innovative fitting process.
Yes.
I'm putting them in somewhere. I'm gonna have 11. I'm putting that out there, which is a whole nother story. But like back then, you really only had like Adele, Tom Slider, who was like to
Yep.
me, he's like the original that I can remember at least for the last 20 plus years. I remember Tom Slider was like, I can go to his website and order putter with stuff on it that I want, and I never did, but he was like the first. And then you had like Adele 350 milled, which was also
Yep.
CNL. Like there were a few in there, but you're looking at, I don't know, $300 back then. Now, I mean, you're creeping. Like a lot of these guys are starting at like six, 7, $800,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's wrong. I mean, you're getting like a high end metal custom product that, if you treat it well, will last beyond our kids and
Oh yeah.
longer. You know what I mean? Like, so
Oh yeah.
there's value there for sure. It's just like you look at how much things have changed. Prices have gone up 250%.
Well, I think a lot of that comes from the machines are getting more expensive. I mean, these guys are buying these CNC machines, and I think, even the smallest ones are probably double what they used to be, like you said, 15 years ago. So, they're having to offset that cost to or carry out that cost with the consumer.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's just
Oh
it's
yeah,
just one of
you
those
have to.
things.
You have
Can't
to.
blame them.
So, all right, man. Number 7 on my list. 3DP Design, formerly known as National Custom Works Potters. Man, Al, such a cool guy. I mean, I talked to him the other day. I actually played the lake with him. He was in town, and he reached out to me that day
Wait,
and was like,
when
"Hey," this was like 2 weeks ago for Walking
he was
League.
here?
Yeah, he messaged me like a Thursday morning and was like, "Man, I have like one day to play." He's like, "Do you want to play?" And I was like, "Well, I have Walking League. That's like, so if you want to play, like that's all I've got." And he was like, "Okay, I'll play." And he came and played 9 holes and brought like he had like 2 or 3 putters with him that he just made. So he's got a new like way to not mill, but it's a new type of 3D printing. So the surface is a lot smoother now instead of kind of that rougher texture and then him having to like sand it out. Looks really good. But man, Al is like he's a genius because I mean he can do anything. Like, and he doesn't have to, you know, like a lot of these other smaller guys, like they have to have a machine shop, make like 10 or 100 heads, and then they have. I mean, he can do one. Like if you've got an idea, he was telling me about a couple of putter heads that he designed that he can't even like photograph. Like he can't put photos because like it would kind of be like some copyright stuff. But like he was talking, like he was explaining them to me. He didn't show me pictures of him. He was like explaining what he had done. I was like, that is so cool. But I mean, he can do anything. He can turn anything into a putter. Like if you wanted your putter to look like a bucket of popcorn, like he could do that. And I don't know, it's just his the philosophy and the technique and the capability is like it's like bar none. Like he can do any weight, he can do anything on the face. I mean, anything. Like probably 3DP is probably the most customizable putter that you can do.
which just speaks into the amazement of the fact that that is yet another one that I just it completely slipped my mind, and it's like the most it's like one of the most revolutionary things on it. This is why I hate making lists like this. I love it and I hate it at the same time. Like he should so be on here. So
Yeah.
Al, you're an honorary member of my top 10.
All
Gosh,
right, let's
that's
hear number six.
how do you leave that off? That's just terrible. Number six. So sometimes like there's a lot of different reasons why some of these people are on this list. Like some of it is like I love the product. I love the professionalism of the product. I love the whatever. I love the guy. I love sometimes it's a combo. Sometimes it's not because I don't really know the person hardly at all. I just order the putter because I think it's cool.
Mhm.
This guy is has been great. Like he is awesome to talk to. He texts. He gets back to you. He's a super nice guy. He's made some gorgeous putters. I have one. No, I've ordered two customs from him,
Okay.
and that is Lamont Man
Okay.
Crafted. So Lamont is just such a cool guy. He is like he loves this stuff, and it's like I remember just like I try not I really don't bring my phone to the bed anymore because I'm like trying to read books. But I would bring my phone and I would like end up scrolling looking at putters and like I can remember like he and I would be texting like super late at night because he's out in Arizona and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry to bug you. Like, we've been talking for however long. He's like, no, dude. He's like, I love this stuff or whatever. So I mean, it's just like he eats it up. And when somebody's excited about something you're making, like
Hmm.
that's got to feel pretty good. But he
Yeah.
just like lets you know it and is like appreciative. It seems like, and like I don't know. Like I just remember, I feel like at one time I got like this really random, like out of the blue text from him. Just like I don't remember exactly what the deal was. It was like just almost like a thank you text for like just being interested in his stuff, and it was like unprompted and just like for like talking to him about it, just like being interested. It's just like we hadn't been talking. Like it was just like
Yeah. Yeah.
out of the blue, and I just was like, that's pretty cool. Like he's just a cool guy, and like I don't know, I he's another one of those ones that like he could be moved up or down the list,
Yeah.
or he
Yeah.
could be moved up the list. I don't think he could be moved down, but he could be moved up the list. It's just like like different things here or there, just like what speaks to you right now. But
Yeah.
I really like Lamont. He's just such a cool dude. His putters are cool. He used to work for like used to do stuff for Sunset Beach. So like one of
Yeah.
the putters that I got is one of the customs is an old Sunset Beach head.
Okay.
Sorry about yawn. It's like an old Sunset Beach head, but he did it with like his logo, and it's got the Sunset Beach logo still on the sole. And then I bought one of the putters that came with the collection that kind of means a lot to me, and it meant a lot to Jim, who I got the putter from, is a Tadmore. I'm gonna get this wrong a little bit, but it's a Tadmore putter that
Okay.
Lamont put a new neck on it, and then Lamont's brother refinished the putter or
Whoa.
something. So it's had like three guys handle this one putter, and so it's got like MKGW stamped on one bumper, and it may have one of one stamped on the other. It's like Mancrafted Golf Works, but it's a Tadmore putter. But they
Wow.
put their own neck on it, and then one of them did the neck, and one of them finished it, I think, or something. I can't remember exactly, but like Jim loved that putter, and so I love it just because of like its connection to Jim and its connection to Lamont
Yeah.
and Tad, who's like a legend. Um, so there you go.
Wow. That's really cool. I don't know. Have I seen that one?
Probably
I
not.
don't
It's
think I
got
have.
like a it's got like a it's like a welded pipe neck, but it's like a gooseneck almost.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I
pretty
don't think I've
wild.
seen that.
It's like a copper looking color. Like it's just kind of funky.
That's cool. Um, okay, let's see. Let's see. So we're at what, sixth spot?
Yep.
My sixth spot is a putter. I actually had one by him. I just sold it, funny enough. It's Peretti.
Mm, yeah.
Peretti makes such a good putter, and it's I sold it, which is so rare for me because nothing leaves my collection, but it was just one that kind of collected dust. I liked it. I mean, I'd played several rounds with it, and taken care of it. The finish was a little fragile because it was an oil can, but it was an 801 with a rounded top. I wish it had had a flat top to it, a flat top line. Probably would have kept it. I don't know. I'm just kind of right now going through this phase where I'm not a huge fan of a rounded top line. Um, but I sold it to help fund a 009. So now I understand why you sell stuff. And
Oh,
I don't
good, dude.
regret it. I don't regret it because I was able to pick up really honestly a dream putter. I mean, there's no other way I'm getting that putter without selling some stuff. But I've got it, and I'm actually probably within the next year or so, I'm probably going to order a custom Peretti and actually design it with the neck I want, with the finish I want, with the stampings I want, and all that. But I feel like Peretti's got to be on that list just because his stuff's so good, so good.
Freddy's another one that I would have put on here likely. I've never owned. That's not true. I've never owned a custom Peretti
Okay.
that I ordered. And when I was doing some research, it was like I felt from like what I saw, which now that I think about it, I don't think it's correct, but it was like custom order options were only like one or two heads. Like you couldn't
Okay.
order. I, but I don't know if that's true. But like he has a couple heads that I really like. So, and like his stamping's really good. Like he like the finishing's really good typically on them. Like he like pretty much top to bottom, he's one of the best for sure.
Yeah.
But like I don't have much experience with their stuff. I mean, we sold it obviously
Yeah.
with Will, but like I don't have a whole lot of personal experience. Jim had some cool ones in the collection that I wish I would have kept. They were like super. Some of them were super early
Oh
already.
wow.
Like these, like he had, the Henrik Stenson model. It was like a almost kind of like square backish, maybe kind of.
Okay.
Like I had like
Okay.
there was like a Henrik Stenson limited, but then he had like a couple mallets that were like one of them was like flamed finish, one of them was like copper, and they had like weights. They had cutouts in the sole where weight had been
Okay.
removed, and like they said Peretti, like real. I don't want to like I don't mean this like in a bad way, but it was like primitive or like rudimentary sounds negative. I don't really mean it negative because I kind of liked it, but it was like just very basic Peretti in the
Okay.
cavity, like
Okay.
something you would see from like a really early prototype is what it seemed like. I don't know if
Okay.
they were or not. So I wish I would have kept one of those, but you got to move stuff to get new stuff, right?
I
Gee,
know that now.
yep, you do. Okay, so
Number
number
5.
5, I am like in love with this guy's stuff,
Okay.
and another one that could be moved up higher on the list because I think he has like almost the like total package when it comes to custom stuff.
Okay.
Um, I haven't been as familiar with it, but it was like I saw his stuff, I ordered one, and I got it recently, and that's Royal Pain. So the dudes in Stillwater, Oklahoma, go Cowboys, go Pokes, however they do it, maybe something like this. Um, like awesome, super cool guy to talk to.
Yeah.
Very good at the communication side of things. Like on like DM through Instagram, like very good at
Mhm.
that. Very good on my custom, like with what I wanted. Like it was awesome. Um, he's done like Trevor Lawrence has one of his putters that Rex Golf Shop did. Like it was on his Instagram. Like he has serious potential. I mean, he's already really good. So I mean,
Yeah.
like the potential's there to do big stuff, and the value was like a joke. It was like, gosh, what did I tell you I paid for that?
It was less than 5,
Oh, I think it was less than 4. It was like three
which
seventy
is
five shipped
which is crazy.
for a full out custom welded
Yeah.
neck.
You
Now
got to pick the stamps and everything.
I don't know if that's still the pricing, so don't hold me to that, folks. If you're trying to go order a putter, please don't tell him that I said he would do it for 375. I don't know if that's still the pricing or not, or what the deal was, but like, dude, welded round neck, custom stamps, and like the only thing he requires one logo of his
Okay.
somewhere, but he's got like so many options for his logo. So you can put it anywhere, you can pick which one you want. It's like the craziest deal. And I did like this blue, like flamed blue finish. Like, dude,
Hmm.
it's really good. Now,
It is good.
I would say he's fairly early on. So like he doesn't have like a ton of head shape options. And it's like I talked to him about like a custom head shape, and like I think he's willing to do it, but it's like, like you got to get it in the CAD design. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
work that goes involved in like creating a one off the way he does it. So I mean, I get it. So it's like I don't know how many head shapes he has, but he's done an 8802. He's done the one that I did, which is kind of like your, answer to. Um, I think he's probably done like a standard answer, maybe a mallet, but it's like really, really good.
Yeah.
Big, big fan.
100%. So 5 spot, a little unique for me. I do own one. I've actually owned 3, but I've moved 2 of them to get other putters, which is so weird I'm saying that.
And you're just a
Logan Olson. And
mhm.
I know he's with TaylorMade now. I get that, but I mean, there's still a lot of boutique Olsons out there that he was doing early on before signing with TaylorMade. And I think if you can find them, which they've actually come down a little bit on the secondhand market from when Scheffler first put it in the bag. I mean, if you can find one at a good price, they're so good. His stamping is so good. His finishes are so. I mean, all these guys are good. I'm not. I keep saying that, but in reality, I mean, all these guys are good. It's just Logan had, man, he's got a touch that
It makes you feel like he's going to be around a long time.
yeah, yeah. Logan
He's
just has
super
that
young.
super young, super young,
What
and
is he?
Logan just 23, 4, 5. So he's less than
Crazy.
25 or 26. I'm pretty sure, but um, Logan just has that aura about him that, man, this could be one of the greats. Like we could be associating with him with the greats at some point, and I'm not saying a lot of the other smaller guys that are up and coming won't get there. It's just, man, Logan got it fast. I feel like
He's the
he,
first one to do like what we're talking about in our
yeah,
in our real collect. Like Scotty did it with Titleist and Mizuno, right? And then Bettinardi did it a couple times with people, but Logan's like the first of these like new age boutique guys to like roll that into an
yep,
OEM deal.
yep,
And like if you see the stuff, like if like TaylorMade's that he's going to be around a while,
yeah. I,
I
I
think.
I agree. I agree. No, I totally agree. So that rolls out number
Yeah,
five.
he's really solid. I mean, we met him at the PGA show
Yep.
back in 2020. Super nice kid, super smart. I mean, he was literally what he built parts for SpaceX, I think, or
Yeah,
he worked
that's
for
right.
SpaceX. So I mean, like
That's right. I forgot about all that.
he's a
I forgot about
smart cookie and a good player, I
stuff.
think, and just like it's amazing to think like, dude, like this kid's however old he is, like who bought all this equipment? Like, it's amazing. Like he is amazing, and I think there's you know TaylorMade did it. TaylorMade did a good job. That was a smart pickup, dude. I'm like you. I'm
Okay.
yawn.
Yeah.
I'm like trying not to yawn. These
No,
like
you're good, man.
late night pods or with two kids gets you, doesn't it? So
It does.
bear with us, folks. This is Flat Stick Focus Dad's edition. Late night,
We
late
need to
night.
throw some good dad jokes in there.
Yeah. Somebody told me one
Uh,
at church yesterday. I can't remember the whole thing right this second.
I saw one
Um,
today. It said, "Why do mama kangaroos hate rainy days?"
why?
Because the kids have to play inside. uh,
Yeah, that's a good one.
um, number four, and man, this was a tough one. This was a tough one to put on the list. The quality of his work is top three of anybody out there. Like truly, I consider this guy a top three of anybody out there. It's just I wish he made more putters. I wish the availability of his putters was better. I
I didn't
wish
put him on my list. I don't. I know who you're talking about. I love his stuff, and it didn't even make my list. It doesn't even cross my mind because there's like you don't see him anywhere.
you don't see him. Tyson Lamb.
So good. Might
I mean,
honestly might be like you said, could be the best. Like on like top to bottom, it's phenomenal.
dude, I swear you've got a better chance of getting a clear shot of Sasquatch on your camera phone than you do picking up a Tyson, and it kills me because it's beautiful. Like his stuff is so good. His head covers are so good. His leather wallets are good. His logos are good. I have been fortunate enough to pick up a couple ball markers that I had personalized around Christmas time. He releases and you can order and put whatever you want there, and they're engraved. But even with that, and they've got like leather inlay, but it's so good. And it kills me because man, it's like it's literally like trying to catch a unicorn. Like there's no lefties. I mean, I've seen maybe two, and those people aren't letting them go because they know what they've got. But I've got to put Tyson on that list. I mean, I hope at some point. I really do. Like my hope is to have one in the collection one day. But I mean, he's got to turn that CNC on and just start pumping out some heads, man. I mean, it kills me because it's such a good product, and I don't know. I just wish there was more of him out there. But he has to make my list because of the quality.
Yeah, I mean he is definitely like deserving to be on both of these lists. I didn't put him on here. It's like he doesn't come to the forefront of my mind. The price is super high.
Hmm.
Um, B, you don't see many of them. I don't. I'm gonna plead ignorance because I don't understand the model. Like I don't understand the business
Yeah.
model. Like I I'm clearly missing something on how he makes money. I don't know whether it's another job or it's the accessories or
Yeah.
doesn't need it maybe like I'm not necessarily dogging him for it. Like I don't understand. Like he does like some of the best work in the entire world, but he doesn't make putters. Like I don't, and maybe he does, but they're all custom, so you never see them. So I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it. I never got into like they were from the jump. They were always like more expensive than I was going to spend on one.
Yeah.
So I've just never gotten like into the world. But
Yeah.
it's not because they're not beautiful or not because I don't think he does great work. Because I think he's some of the best of the best, and like he is like quality of work wise. It's like it's like he's one of the guys I'll say that would be like in line to take over for like Scotty's market. And I get why people have gone to that. Like he pumps out some great stuff. I'm like you. Like I wish there was more of it. So Tyson is his stuff's
Well,
awesome. Number 4 for me. I have one of these putters. It was not a custom order for me. I got it in a trade. Pretty much instantly fell in love with it. Um, it's almost like I'm real nitpicky, so there are not very many putters I would say in this world that are like perfect. This one's pretty darn close though. I really like it. I don't know if you can guess which one I'm
I
talking
can. I can.
about. But it's
I was wondering with this when this name was going to pop up.
yeah, Cody James.
Yeah.
So I think Cody is like one of the most underrated people out there right now. Like I don't see a lot of people talking about him. Like there's not a huge number of his putters out there. Mine is number 49, which that is one of the reasons why I really like his stuff. I'm really liking this trend. Some people probably hate it. I love it. I'm really liking this trend of people serial numbering their putters. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do. Like
You know,
I just
Josie does it.
yeah, Josie's
I
been
think he
doing it, I
numbers
think.
like it. Yeah.
It's so cool. Like I love the way Artisan does their stuff with like your initials and then like
Yep.
I love all that stuff. I know some people probably hate it, but like from a custom perspective, like I love that I have number 49. Like I can look back and think like I have one of the first 50 Cody James putters and it's like I don't know. I think that's so cool. I think it's a carbon one. It's rusted up a decent amount right now. The shape of it is awesome. The look of it is awesome. Just I just big fan. And he needs his head covers have been great. Some of the head covers he's put out have been great. Some of the accessories,
Yep.
awesome. He's a little bit on the he's not he's not Tyson Lamb expensive, but I think you're probably looking in the 11 $1,200 range maybe for a full out custom. I may be wrong on that. So please don't quote me on any of these. Go look for yourselves. Um, but it's got like a black shad. It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and it's called the Patriot. I think that model's called the Patriot, and so the grip that's on it. First of all, that's another reason why I love this putter. It's that semi-round like
Yep.
leather grip that I love the shape of, and it's got red, white, and blue stitching. It's the Patriot. It's just it's such a cool putter.
Do you make a life goal to track down the other 49 top 50 putters?
That would be there is a manufacturer that I might do that for.
Really?
That is on the list later. I could not afford to do that with Cody James, but it would be cool. And like there's a lot of custom stuff in there that people do that's not necessarily like my thing, but like, dude, he's doing
Yeah.
like all like his like the C that he did on my putter is like
Yes.
Damascus.
Yes.
So it's like the inlaid stuff that he's done. He was like one of the first ones that I saw to do that kind of stuff. Like it is just like some of the stuff is just gorgeous.
All right. So I guess are we top three now?
We're into the top 3.
Top three. All right. I'm gonna take number three and I'm gonna let you narrow it down to one and two. Number three, recent interview, um, Weston
Oh,
Mon.
mm,
I want to see
solid.
one in person. I'm pretty sure I have seen one in person, but I'll be honest, I've seen so many that it kind of blurs itself. But Weston, I feel like has got to be on that list, man. He does his for the simple reason, if nothing else, regardless of the head, the stampings are very good. They're very clean. He cares. He's not just pumping something out to just pump it out and make money. Like, I like the guy. I believe in the guy. I've got to put him on there just for the amount of care, for the amount of attention to detail, to the amount of just yeah, the amount of yeah that guy gives. Like when he makes a putter, like he wants it to be flawless, and I've yet to see one that's not. So I've got to put him on there just because of his craftsmanship.
I love it. I have honorable mentions. I have two companies on my list right now as honorable mentions. And
Okay.
one of the reasons why I don't have them in my top 10 is because I haven't seen their putters in person.
Okay.
Um, and that's Weston Mon and O
Okay.
and Co, which we
Okay.
just had on recently. I think like those both those could certainly be in the top 10. Like looks wise, I'm really liking what they're doing. I've never seen either one in person. Not that anything's gonna knock them down when I see them in person. I just kind of want to see one in person, and I want to,
Yeah.
hit some putts with it and stuff. But um, yes, I mean, yeah, everything you said. Like the this is so stupid, but like the font is so important to me
Yeah.
on stamping. So important. And
Yep.
Weston and O and Co, like they've got good fonts. As
Yeah.
stupid as that probably sounds to a lot of like that's a very important thing to me. To me, like you can stamp something well, but if the font is like too big or like just not the right font, I don't like it. Like that's one of the things that turns me off. That and sight lines not reaching all the way
Okay.
to the cavity are two things that really bug me.
Uh, I wish
Okay.
you a putter one day and make you use it. I'd
Do
have the
it.
sight. I'd have the sight line go about three-quarters of the way there,
Yeah,
and just some
exactly.
of the gaudiest looking stamping, like the worst font, like Wingdings or something.
Yep. That would I'd probably make putts with it and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta use this thing. All right, my top
All
three
right. Top three.
or my number three. So I think this guy, this company has been around a long time. They um, are probably a little bit bigger as far as like, or they have been a little bit bigger, at least in the past, as far as like from a company perspective.
Okay.
But TP Mills, I have trumpeted TP Mills since we started this podcast as one of the most underrated brands. Like his custom prices are still like I think I read as recently as maybe like 2022 or 2023 like custom
Yeah.
prices were maybe starting at like 600. And dude, like the history that TP Mills has, the company, I know TP's not making them anymore, David is, but like David is really good. Like
Yeah.
I have a custom that I did from David, and dude, it is awesome. It's so good. And like some of the handmaids that David has done that say, have the handmade by David Mills, like they're just gorgeous. Like they're the crosshair logo, like if they had the marketing budget that some of these other people have, like with the big OEMs, I don't know. I think David's work is very underrated. And now I will say it seems to have bounced higher in the last couple years. Like, dude, I was buying creme de la creme of his handmaids, like some like 8802 with like a plumber's neck, like I guess like a hand bent plumber's neck with a rippled flange. I had a handmade 8802 with a gooseneck, like awesome handmaids that I was getting really from one guy. Dude, those I was buying those things for like $300. And I mean, obviously that was pre-COVID, like that's been a
Yeah,
while ago now, but still that was within the last probably 8 years or
that's
so. So I
crazy.
mean, it's not, not like it's been that long ago. But handmaids were going like blades you could get for $225. Like this, a very similar like to like a Scotty Cameron blade that you would buy for
Yeah,
like 1,800, 2 grand. You could get a TP Mills for like 200, 250. And now they've gone up a little bit. You might get that same putter for 400 or 450,
yeah.
or you might find one that's got initials on it that goes in that same 2 to 300 round. Like it's just like I think
Isn't
his
that
stuff.
crazy?
And dude, like he had the deal where he was like he never. Everybody had to pay for a putter supposedly.
Mhm.
Tour players, like presidents, I think maybe like he's made putters for like so many cool people. Like some of the stuff that you could find, like if you the huge TP Mills collectors, I bet you there are some like mind blowing TP Mills collections. I'm gonna
Oh
research
yeah.
that. I'm gonna research that because I've seen some that were made for like Gary Player, maybe like Lee Trevino, and like those guys like wrote a check for it, and clearly it was good. Um, Bernhard Langer, like it's just I don't know. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I love Mills stuff, man. I mean, the stuff I've seen in person has been unreal. The lefty world, I mean, he made some. It's just, most of the time, anytime that you go to eBay and type in TP Mills and you click the dexterity of left-handed, it's always like the Spalding, like
Yeah,
TPM sevens, or whatever it was back then. So to find a lefty, it's pretty rare. I'll add
there's
one
a
to the
real
collection.
there's a really good one on there right now.
Is
A
there?
lefty. It's like if I remember correctly, it's kind of like I'm not going to say it's a Circa 62 number two, but it's kind of similar. It's like a little bit
Okay.
wider blade. I think it has a beach slot and it may have snow. And I want to
Wow.
say it's like maybe sub 500,
Wow. That's
somewhere
crazy.
around there. Like it may be a little more than that, but it's like,
Okay.
dude, and he has some of the best snow stampings of anybody.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then the
Oh yeah.
crosshairs, like David and TP Mills could certainly be anywhere one, two, three on my list. Like I big fan. I'm gonna get back into that. Talking about it makes me remember how much I enjoy it. You just don't hear much about him.
No, you never do. I mean, seriously, you never do. And you never see him on a golf course, dude. Other than you, I don't know that I have ever once, and I've played with a lot of guys that are into custom putters. Have I ever seen a TP Mills on a golf course?
And that's so weird to me. Like we're in the southeast. He's in the southeast. Like
Yeah.
they've been
It's,
around longer than anybody on this list. Anybody on either one of our lists.
seriously.
He's
Seriously.
been around for they've been around for 40 years longer than any of these guys probably.
I know. I know.
So it's just wow, that's what marketing does. But I mean, like obviously he had the deal with Spalding, he had the deal with Mizuno.
Mizuno.
Like
Yep.
some of those Mizuno putters are pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, number two for you.
Nope. Number two for you. You're gonna round
Okay,
it
just
out.
just kidding. Um, Number two for me. I was told not I wasn't told I was pronouncing it wrong, but when somebody else pronounced it, it was not the way I had been pronouncing it. So forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm not Australian. I don't speak Australian. Kari or Carrie LaJosie.
Well, Josie.
See, when I see that, I want to say Lahosi. I don't know why. It's got a J. Maybe it's because my wife speaks Spanish.
I was gonna say, I think it's probably your Mexican background. You're
Yeah, I got a lot of Hispanic in me. Um, no, but my wife obviously speaks Spanish, and maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know, but uh,
I think as Americans, especially from the South, I think anytime we see a J in a name and it's not American, we just automatically assume it's like a sound.
maybe that's it. I don't
I
know.
think
So,
that's what it is. Like seriously, I think if it's a name that doesn't sound American, we're like, oh, that's a huh.
well, one of my Australian mates pronounced it LaJosie,
Okay.
and he had a custom LaJosie. Now, I will say, full disclosure, I did work for Kerry LaJosie, briefly, doing some stuff for sales for him in the U.S., which was a lot of fun. Um, that I didn't have time to do with my other full time job that I had going. I could not give Kerry the uh, time that he deserved because his stuff is phenomenal. Like
Mhm.
I go back the very do I have yes I have kind of a couple customs from him. The first one I had I got back in I can remember it was either 2011 or 2012,
Okay.
and his logo is a lizard,
Yeah.
and I got a blade with the lizard all over the face, like a what Cameron would call like a fancy face almost, but it's like the entire face is stamped with the lizard,
That's
and it
cool.
has the whatever you want to call it, the bullet sole, catamaran sole. Um, love that putter, so cool. The way I don't know if you've seen any of the putters where he like wraps the lizard around the toe
Yes.
or the
Yes.
heel. Um, Gauge Design used to do that too with their like caliper type logo thing. It was pretty cool. But he's done like these really cool, like one of the best things I've ever seen in a custom putter. Kerry did on the neck of a putter where he's like milled out. This is on the neck. So think about this. He is milled out like it would be like four lines. Then the lizard is milled onto the neck. Then it's like four lines. So it's like the lizard is like 3D almost on the neck. It's not stamped.
Oh,
It's like milled out onto the neck. It's
that's crazy.
phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And dude, he's done like his Damascus, some of the best ever.
That's
It's
cool.
He's phenomenal. Plus, you can get a pretty good deal on Kerry's putters with him being in Australia. The exchange rate's pretty good for us. Um, I still have some stuff I want to do with him, but like he is lots of head shapes. He's got a lot of head shapes, mallets, blades, answer style, handmade stuff,
Yeah.
stuff with grooves, fancy face. It's just he's like all the options are there pretty much.
I love it.
So
Okay.
that's my number
Number
two.
two, it's on probably nobody's radar. I think I think this guy started with putter heads. He originally started as an accessory maker, then he jumped. He's still doing a lot of accessories, like that's his main gig. But he does a few putters, mainly 808, 8802 style. Sorry, I don't know why I had a brain freeze there.
Dude,
8802
we're
style.
yawning like we're about to
But
fall asleep. It's
he
late night
did
recording.
he did make a new head shape, and I saw it the other day on Instagram. My buddy Tyler Munns, Fade and Fairways, got it. It's Legend Company.
Mm, mm.
Yep. He man, I don't know. I'm just a
Wow,
big
that's number two
his
for you.
his
That's solid.
stampings are really good, man. I like it. Like I want to see one in person because the stampings are good. I like the neck because it's got like I don't even know what you call it. It's like at the top of the old Vokey wedges, like right before the ferrule. It was like little X's that went all the way around it. You know what I'm talking about?
Knurling.
Knurling. Okay. He's got knurling on the neck, and I think it's so cool. I don't know. I like him. I bought quite a few accessories from him right after we had interviewed him the first time. Um, I don't know. It's a cool one for me. But I like that head shape. That head shape's not for an 8802 is not for everybody. I get that, but
It's for
I
me.
like it. It's old school. Um, I don't know. He's making my list though, just because like he's just very versatile in the golf world, and he happens to make putters. So I think it's really cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Pretty sure I have like a green light
You
ball
do.
marker that came
You
from
do.
him. Yeah,
You do.
he did some cool stuff. I like it. Joe, right? His name's Joe.
Joe. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah, that ball marker's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. You're number two. I mean, that's high praise.
Yeah, and I think he makes a few lefties. So I need to go
Are
ahead.
you going in order?
Um, yeah, two through 10, not necessarily,
Okay,
but kinda.
so he may not be right in number two, but
Yeah, no, he may
he's
not be
in.
in two, but I just, I wrote 2 through 9. Like I had number one as number one.
Okay, so I had a tie for two because I told you I was going to put them in there with Adele. Like,
Okay.
it's a different type of custom putter,
Okay.
but like and David is no longer involved with the company. Um, as of fairly recently, there's a new owner that owns the rights to the name that's running the company. David is out of the company. Um, David has done some really cool stuff in his life, and he was I full disclosure too. I did work for David as well. I was a fitter for Adele, but like David has he has made his own watches, belt buckles, golf bags.
Golf bags.
I believe maybe fishing rods. Um, Obviously golf clubs, wedges, putters, dude, and other stuff that won't get into because I don't know how much of it was like ever made public. But dude, like one of the smartest people I've ever met, and he owns the plans to it, or he did at least own the plans to an Alistair McKenzie course that was never built. He has owns the personal collection of Roberto Di Vincenzo. They were tight, and um, just some really he's just such a cool guy. Um, but anyway, so he is not working in Adele Golf anymore, so somebody else has it now. But like what David did with both of his fitting systems, really, like the wedge fitting that he did
Hmm.
With Mike Adams, who's like a top five teacher in the world, and then the putter fitting system has like 3 million combinations or something insane. Like and I know that like some of the head shapes weren't for everybody because he had like some unique head shapes, but he did have an answer style. He had some mallets, but like the process that went behind developing that fitting system, if you don't know, if you're listening to this and you don't know about the Adele putter fitting system, go look it up. Like it is unreal. Like it's all fit based on aim, and they set you up at a cup from like 6 feet with a laser and see where you aim. And 90% of people don't aim over the middle of the hole from 6 feet. You think you do, but you don't.
Really? Because I know for a fact I do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, most people they'll aim at the edges or even off I think Tiger aims left edge.
Okay.
Um, so it's like most people don't, but they have a stroke that works. But if you're a tour player, it's one thing. But most of us haven't, you know, don't have that stroke grooved that well. So it's like we aim left and we subconsciously push it, but we're not as consistent as a tour player. So it's like it's good for us to change it. So it's just amazing to watch somebody that aims like 6 inches left of the hole from 6 feet. They think they're aiming at the middle of the hole and they're not even touching it, and they can show you that. And then he can build a putter for you, head shape, neck, offset, sightline color matters, which is crazy. How many sight lines, where they are, and watch your aim change.
That's crazy.
And then you aim it over the middle of the hole. Then he has weighting that he was putting down in the putter. He could put it in your bottom hand and in your top. Like he could move the weight down up and down the shaft, like not just in one location in the butt. Like he could move it up and down the shaft to change your speed. So then you would go to a speed part of the fitting and you would see how your speed control. Then you could change the weighting in the grip and see how your speed improves. I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. So he started doing this or a lot of this research when I was at Campbell,
Okay.
and we were some of the guinea pigs for the fitting because he was working with David Orr, who was working at Campbell at the time. So he came and fit like our whole program. And so like we were a lot of the data that he was using, and they were presenting this data at MIT, I think it was. Um,
Wow.
and so then he just started collecting all these fittings, doing all this stuff, and dude, like, and just the fitting system itself is beautiful. Like the actual ones that are like
Mhm.
stationary. I had a mobile one, so it came in like this big, like looked like a big gun case.
Yeah.
But like the stationary ones that were like indoor were this beautiful wood, and like the putters went on there and you like tighten them with an Allen wrench and they like displayed so beautifully. Adele, like it's phenomenal. Please go, just either get an Adele fitting or look up their fitting. And then you can, if you don't get an Adele putter, I would suggest getting one if you get fit for one because it makes sense. But if you don't, like you can take those specs and get a custom built with some of those specs, and it will probably help your aim. But
Now,
it's
do the
phenomenal.
new owners still go through the same process that David did?
I can't say for sure because I don't know, but I would assume so. I'm
Okay.
assuming they're do. I mean, I don't know why in the world you would give that up. Like it is. I'm sure it's proprietary. I'm sure there's like there's mirrors built into the fitting putter faces. Like he's probably got patents and stuff on this thing. Like it's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I noticed I played this weekend and I noticed so I got the jailbird. You know, it's like 36. I think I got mine at 36 inches. I noticed that I have about 12 different setups because the grip's long and I don't have to grip it in the same spot every time. So there's times I choke way down. There's times I'm like at the end of the grip. There's times that I'm
you're
like,
trying to
how
figure it out.
inconsistent? I'm like, how inconsistent can I be? Like, I love the butter. It's just I noticed that I never grip it in the same spot twice.
That is pretty funny, and that's that's like that is something to be said for like Adele,
Yeah.
and the fitting, and like Seymour, that's what made that's why like Seymour is great. Like a lot of those, I keep my hands more forward than a lot of those putters would really let you do
Hmm.
with my ball position, but like I wish Zach Johnson would go back to his because it's like, dude, if you want to be consistent, get a
Yeah.
Seymour. Like get a Seymour and use that rifle scope technology and just set up the same way every single time.
Every time.
Like they're not the most like flashy brand, right? Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
they're not like, but some of the coolest head covers though. They did some really cool head covers back in the day.
I have seen some of their limiteds and they are
Yeah.
beautiful.
But see, that's another one. Seymour, like go check them out and like be consistent because it sets you up to do that every time. And that's why Scotty doesn't have the three dots on any of his putters anymore.
All right. I'm dying to hear. Who's your number one?
I'm gonna let you get. You probably know who my number one. If you think about it, you'll get it because you've seen
So I've got
and
two
heard me
for
talk
that.
about it.
I've got two that could be on your list.
Okay, let's hear them.
One I believe is either Byron Morgan.
Okay,
The other one is oh my gosh. It's not Gene Need. I almost said him, but it's oh my gosh, it's the logo of the older guy with the circle glasses, Tad Moore.
add more. Okay, so I will say you did not get it correct.
Okay, good, good. I
um,
really know you.
I did not. Byron Byron would be in here. Unfortunately, Byron Morgan passed away, so
Uh,
it's not a company that you can order from anymore. So I kept him off. Tad Moore, love Tad Moore stuff. I did not throw him on here. I've never ordered a custom from Tad, and I
okay.
honestly I don't know what his custom process is. I should because I love his stuff, but I've never ordered one and don't know what he offers from a custom perspective. So I need to do some research on that because he is one that I would love to have a custom putter of personally because Jim had a ton of Tad
Yeah,
Moores,
yeah.
but none of them are like I mean, I'm sure they might have been custom for somebody at the time, but I just don't know enough about Tad. He should be on. They both those guys would have could make the list.
Okay. Synergy.
No, I do.
Oh,
I really like them though.
I could be here a while guessing then.
When you hear it, you're gonna kick yourself.
Probably.
Okay.
Xenon?
Yep.
Okay.
So Xenon, which is a little bit tricky because he doesn't work under the Xenon name anymore. Um, Now he's under Ken Uselton Putters, which is his name. But I got introduced to Xenon in 2012
Okay.
and got a custom putter and fell in love with the way that he does his putters. They are not for everyone. Like the shapes, but he does wild shapes, but he also does very traditional shapes. So the one that I ordered was like your answer style. The line on top is made out of like a wide piece of copper. He did my name on the bumper. Still to this day, probably one of the coolest custom features I've ever had on a putter. It's like this tiny little font going up the side of the neck. It is just so cool. And so back then, my putter, this was he had just transitioned to Xenon. He had
Okay.
started out as Uselton putters. So my putter, back to the serial number thing, was number 16. Okay. It's number
Okay.
16 that he had ever made. It still had a Uselton putter's head cover, but he wrote Xenon and hand drew the logo on there. And then back then, the putters were coming with a sticker on the sole that had like length, lie, loft, head weight, serial number,
Okay.
which is awesome. I probably have that sticker somewhere. I would really like to find it because it was on the sole, so I,
Yeah.
took it off. I think I hope I can find that one day. But just like everybody else, he kind of transitioned and started doing more stuff. Well, then he started doing shaft bands that have serial number, length, lie, loft, material. So what the putter head's made out of. Then he would sometimes like do metal shaft bands. He stamps every putter with the serial number somewhere. I guess everyone, at least most of them, if not all of them. A lot of the metal shaft bands have the number stamped on them as well. And then if you have like an exotic material, so let's say like solid copper, a lot of sometimes, wow,
I love it.
I was in between there. Sometimes a lot of. So sometimes he would have another shaft band that would talk about the material. So let's say it was copper. It would say this putter has been milled out of a solid billet block of what is it, like 110 Cu.
Yeah, something like that.
This putter will show oxidation over time, blah, 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 blah. Or if he would do one of Damascus steel, it would say this putter is made of Damascus steel. Damascus steel is made of thousands of layers of other little stuff. And it's like gives a brief description. I totally eat that up. I think that is so cool. I love the serial number stuff. Um, he's still going. His prices were right at the time. His market price right now, I absolutely love because a lot of them are custom. So a lot of them have a lot of, personalization. I
Yeah.
don't really care I mean, if they have somebody else's personalization, it makes them cheaper. And I mean, you can buy them for between 200 and 300 bucks. A lot of them are like, maybe they're all handmade. I don't know. But Jim had a big affinity for Xenon, and I had I had purchased two at the time
Okay.
before I got Jim's collection, most of Jim's collection, and I've never sold one, and
Really?
do not plan on selling any Xenons or
Wow.
Hilton putters ever. There's just something like they're not like I said, most of them are not like your typical like smooth, soft like answer Newport. I've got some like he calls them like he's got model 84s, like he's got some that are very answer style, but they're just a little bit different than like your typical. And I absolutely love them. I love the shaft bands, I love the serial numbers, I love the stories. Like he's a nice guy. He's in Tennessee, just outside of Nashville or in Nashville, and super underrated. I just like I
Yeah.
said, they're not for everybody because he does like some wild stuff, but he didn't want to just be another guy making the same putter. He also
Yeah.
is a very, very, very well educated expert on ping putters. He literally wrote a book on ping, historical, collectible ping putters. They turned into an ebook, and then there was like a small amount of printed copies. But
Really?
you can still Google it and find it. It was a resource like on Putter Talk, but you can still find it on the webs on the internet, and you can download it for free. And it's an ebook that you can read through, and it's really awesome. Like it goes through, you know, I think it goes through like the 1A, the Scottsdale answers, a lot of the stuff.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I need to I'm with you. Like his head shapes can get out there for me, but in saying that, I feel like he makes enough stuff like everybody would find one that they're
Yeah,
like, okay, okay, I like it.
yeah. I mean, he's made 8802s. He's made answer
Oh
styles. Like
yeah.
I have one that's like a very if you set it down, it's you wouldn't like you couldn't tell me that it wasn't, like normal person that's not like a super collector. It would look very similar to an answer Newport. It's very soft. It's very, you know,
Really?
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And then
I
he
need to
goes
check
into
this stuff out.
some of the wild stuff. He does twisty necks. He does all kinds of stuff. Like just it's really he's put like absolutely like Scrabble letters in the cavity, like XGC for Xenon Golf Company, and they're like square metal with the big letters stamped in. They look like Scrabble letters.
That's cool. That's cool.
I could talk.
I need to check his stuff out again because it's been a hot minute since I've seen any Xenon stuff.
It's so cool, and I just like. I mean, other people. Yeah, clearly there's other people that like it because he sold hundreds of putters, over the years, or if not more. But there's, I some of the putters in like your own personal collection stand out. And
Yeah.
one of the ones that Jim had is actually stamped Usulton Putter Company, I think, and
Okay.
it's serial number 2.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know where number 1 is, but if that's the second putter that he ever made, like I don't know. Like I just
You need to find one.
I need to reach. I mean, I've talked to him a little bit before. Um, I would like to talk to him some more. I would like to have him on the podcast.
That'd be
Just
awesome.
he's on like my Mount Rushmore of guests. Like I just gush over Xenon, which is a little different because like I don't know that you can find a putter maker much different than Scotty Cameron and Ken
Yeah.
Uselton, and those are two of my absolute favorites.
Uh, that's what I love about this hobby, man. I really do. Everybody's so unique and so different. They put their own touches on everything.
Yep.
So, my number one, never seen one in person, although I have seen one of their products in person.
Should I guess?
You've already mentioned them,
Oh, okay. Well, I know who you're going with then.
O and Co.
Look at you bringing them in at number 1, numero
They
uno.
are. They because they're the next ones I want in my collection. And behind them would probably be Weston. Like if I were to order two putters within a year or two's time, I just don't order that many putters. Like I'm such an accessory and a head cover guy. Like I overlook the main reason of why we have head covers.
I'm telling you, once you get started, I do one a year. That's my thing,
Uh,
and I absolutely love it. I've missed 1 year since I started, and it still kind of eats at me a little bit. But it was the same year I bought Jim's collection, so I'll count that. But
yeah.
that's a really fun thing to do, and really, you start getting with all these new people. So I think you should do that in 24.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, keep
But
going. I'm sorry.
Owen Co are on my list, man. I really, really like the guys. I think think the product is comparable to anybody else. If better than most. I mean, truthfully, like that's not a knock on the other guys, but I really think that they just have, again, an attention to detail that other guys just don't have yet. I'm not saying they won't get there, but at least in my eyes, their paint fills are good, their finishes are good, the welds are good, the shapes are good. Like it's good. O and Co equals good in my eyes, and they're who I want next. I mean, really and truly, like I've thought about it, and ever since we talked to them, and they're just so fresh, man. I mean, like as far as like new and up and coming, I mean, dude, they still have less than 1,000 followers on Instagram. I think I looked yesterday, and I was like, good grief, guys! Like this is mind blowing. Like they just did a putting cup that.
Oh, that thing is so cool.
Did you hear it?
No, I didn't hear it, but
Okay, well, they did a video of putting into it, and it has like this loud, just like tink, like when you make it. Like
that's
it's got
pretty
the
cool.
coolest sound.
They're not cheap.
They're- No,
That putting cup, wasn't it like $450?
was it?
I think so.
Oh wow.
Dude, I watch me be like $200 off, but keep talking. I'm
Um,
gonna look it up.
but I think their accessories are good. They just released another Oreo ball
That thing's
marker.
awesome.
I know.
That's so
And their
cool.
their stuff is so small quantities. I think that's what I really like about them. Like if you have something from them, you have something special because there's not many out there. And they don't want it. They don't want a ton of stuff. I mean, I have a cigar holder by them and it's number 6 out of 5. So
Oh, that's funny. I like that. 6 out of 5. Okay, I'm looking this up. I don't wanna be wrong when I
okay.
say that. Oh gosh, there is a beautiful looking putter on their
No,
homepage.
their stuff is just so good. Their necks are really good. Like, I mean, and I think it helped too that these guys, well, one of them, he was kind of a putter collector to begin with. And the other guy is he's kind of the brains behind the operation. So
Oh, I was
just a
totally
big,
wrong. I'm totally wrong. Totally wrong. I take
how
back what
off
I
were
said.
you?
Way off is $200.
Okay.
But I will say that's really cool because it's this handmade garage putting cup, and it's got a, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I didn't see this. It's got that little slot at the end, and you get to pick a character that they put in there.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, no way. Did you get all the characters with the cup?
I thought so. I thought because I saw the guy that originally posted one that got one, and he posted all the characters with it.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like that is not really expensive for what you get. So please, guys, forgive me for saying that. $200, you get the handmade cut. It's welded. It looks awesome, and then you get all those. You get one, two, three, at least five of those characters,
Yeah.
which is cool. And you get to put them at the end of the cup, and they sit. That's really cool. Okay, so yeah, I want a putting cup. That thing is awesome. I have not heard the sound, but
You gotta find the video of the sound. I'm sure it's on their Instagram somewhere, but it is like super loud, just like ding.
that
And
is
it's just, I don't know, it's so unique. I really like those guys. They're so unique. They're just my style of just laid back, wanting to make something really cool that's functional. And I don't know. I see them. I see them being pretty big. I
yeah,
see that less than 1,000 followers really not lasting very long.
yeah. They're one of those. It's like super underrated and underappreciated, like the belt buckles they're coming out with and stuff. Like those
Yes.
things are very high quality looking stuff. So, um, big fan. Like I said, they're an honorable mention on my list. I have not seen one of their putters in person, which helped me. Just I kept anything off the list, I guess, that I had not seen in person.
Hmm.
Um, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. I don't that they deserve to be on the list too because I'm like you, like I really would like to do a custom from them. I'm trying to figure out if I can make that happen in 2024. So This has been fun.
This has been a lot of fun. I just, other than just being tired, man, this has been a ton of fun. Like I love this stuff. I love talking about different putter makers because there's so many out there, and like I said, they're just so different. They're just so different. Like you don't really get a lot of cookie cutter putter makers.
You want to know what's crazy? We only had two of the same.
Did we?
Yeah,
Mac Made and
Brandon Matthew.
Brandon Matthew. Wow.
That's pretty wild. I would have thought we would
Look
have
at us
more,
go.
but I think that just shows like the talent that's out there. And like, like I said, you had guys on your list that either A, I forgot about, B, I haven't seen in person, so I didn't include them on the list. Like this list of 10 should really be like 20, and they probably shouldn't be in any type of order. Like that's
Agreed.
really probably what this should be because like I said, there I could make a case for 15 or 20 and move them like in different places. So like I can't really say that this is like my definite top 10 because there's 15 or 20 that should be in there.
Yeah.
But it's still
Yeah.
fun.
It's
Still
so
fun
much
to
fun. I'm
there's
glad you thought of this.
well, it was I mean, we've been talking about, you know, customs for a while and it's it's what the podcast is kind of about. So um just another fun episode. And
Yeah, man.
we got to get we're gonna get some guests on here. We're gonna get back to some of the collectors stuff I want to get into a little bit more too. Um, maybe I need to find the epic TP Mills collectors to go with what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Um, you know any big head cover collectors?
I think kinda. I'm sure I can find some though.
Yeah. Okay. See if
And
you
I
can
need to
work.
do my collection. I need to actually get into my golf room and finish it, dude. It's literally been the last thing on my list here lately, just trying to get stuff done and we're in planting season. That's what I did for Mother's Day was just plant. Dude, I've handled more dirt than I ever thought I would. And so
Busy.
it's been fun. It's been busy. But I do have plans of finishing that and bringing y'all in and kind of showing you my little, I don't even know what you'd call it, man cave, I guess. But it's cool to me. Others may not find it cool. I think it's really cool though.
Yeah, we're going to. You were really the guy I was talking about, but if we're, if there's interest there, which it seems like there is, um, we'll do some videos from some of our own collection. That's the plan, at least. If
I love it.
anybody's interested in that, so we'll get into that at some point, and we appreciate you guys checking this out, obviously, and listening to the podcast. We enjoy doing it. Um, we're both pretty busy, like a lot of you guys are. So hopefully we can get to the point where we're doing this, more often. We say
Yeah.
this probably every episode, but I want to get to where we're every week. Um, it's hard to do, and we go kind of long. We probably could go a little shorter, maybe, and maybe get in every
I don't
week.
know, man. We just have so much to say, like both of us do, and it's maybe we need to talk faster. Maybe we need to like double what we say.
Well,
Like,
people can double the speed on their playback when they listen to the podcast, and it'll go twice as fast. So, um, which if you ever listen to a podcast like that, is like, well, um, but yeah, I would love to get to where we're doing this once a week. Um, I think we have, I think there's plenty of content that we could do to do it
yeah,
once a week. Like, I don't think we're going to run out for a while. Plenty of people we could have on. It's just finding the time, and I think we've got some strategy on how we can maybe do that to where we are hitting your podcast feeds a little more
yeah,
often. So anyway,
I love it.
I'll stop rambling, but we appreciate you
No,
guys and
guys, thank you so much.
thanks for listening. We will see you right now, at least in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Boom. See you, everybody.
All right, guys. Bye.